Are you a thoughtful leader? Maybe you are. Maybe you think you are. Let's find out. I'm Mindy Gibbins-Klein. I'm author of The Thoughtful Leader and host of the Thoughtful Leader podcast. Thoughtful leadership is all about thought leadership that goes above and beyond. Thought leadership that is truly new and original, exciting, disruptive, maybe even groundbreaking. Because let's face it, we need to raise the bar. My guests and I are absolutely obsessed with finding truly original thought leadership, and I'm going to bring you so many exciting ideas and opportunities, things for you to think about, and chances for you to push your thinking that you'll be very glad you tuned in. So thanks so much for checking out Thoughtful Leadership and the Thoughtful Leader podcast. I look forward to connecting with you very, very soon. Welcome to the show. My guest today is the amazing thoughtful leader, Liz Carney. She has so many insights. She's been involved in the Thoughtful Leader. She's been involved in our conferences. She's spoken at one of the conferences. She really knows what thoughtful leadership is all about. So it's a delight to have her on the show today. Hello, Liz.
Hello, Mindy, and it's my pleasure. It's a delight to be here. Thank you very much.
You have some incredible insights around a really important issue. So I'm going to jump straight in because I have a feeling a lot of our listeners are in the group that you work with, the group that you speak to, the group that you write for. And I'm talking about midlife women. I know that's not all you do, but I really want to focus in on that today because we are in a very unique position. This is a very interesting time in the world, in society, and yet there are some ever-present challenges, which I think you're best placed to talk about. So tell everybody about your work, please.
Okay, well, I am a coach and a healer. I've had a career that spanned 25 years in corporate. So I've seen things from many different angles and experienced the fact that many women of a certain age suddenly become sidelined or lose their jobs from jobs that they loved, from corporations that they loved, or even, smaller organizations. But suddenly that rug has been pulled out from underneath them. And unfortunately, at the same time, those same women are experiencing the loss of a long-term partnership or an impending divorce, perhaps. Their kids are leaving home, so they've got an empty nest. And also their parents are getting sick, they're getting old, and they're dying. Now, suddenly, everything that we as women have done or known for the last, I don't know how many years, it's like the rug is completely pulled out from under you. And more people, or more women that I speak to have this happening to them. And I'm no longer shocked as how many people say, this is me. And so that is where I focus my coaching, to actually help these women to understand exactly who they are, where they fit in now, and how to get out of that position of crisis and wondering, is this all there is? Who am I?
You've articulated that beautifully, and it's beautifully sad as well that there's such a large number of women in that situation. I heard you say that you're no longer shocked when they say this is me, but I have a feeling that the women who are willing to talk about it and admit it, and who are even self-aware, is a small percentage of those going through it. Would I be right?
Absolutely. And, my own personal example, there is such a sense of embarrassment that you feel that you have failed, that you no longer matter at work or in the home. And you no longer have, perhaps your father, your mother, or either of them. And so you've lost your status as a daughter. And so people and your kids, they've gone, and so you don't matter. Your kids don't need you so much. Of course, they come back, they always need you. But somehow that's when women start thinking, who am I? But that sense of shame that's attached to all of this, that sense of have I failed, stops people stepping forward and talking about it. And so, yeah, I think very, very few are prepared to. And I personally didn't even tell anybody that my husband had left for 3 whole months, not even the family. And then, when I was sidelined, out of a job, I was actually going from the divorce lawyer to the employment lawyer and stopping the car in between and just, having a good cry. But I wish I'd known what I know now, because I would have reached out to somebody. I didn't know where to go or who to talk to. And I expect many people are in the same situation.
Yes, I think we're agreed on that. I know you have called it a crisis in the past. Is that still a word that you use for the situation, or is there a different way of looking at this?
Okay, it may be a full-on, full-blown crisis, but also it may not. It may be what I like to call a bump in the road. And I work with people, when something goes wrong in your life, it doesn't always have to be a full-on catastrophe, but you can be facing difficulties in one area or another that, maybe they're not insurmountable, but maybe you need some help. Maybe you just suddenly wake up one morning and go, I don't know who I am anymore. That also happens to a lot of women at a certain age. Maybe there's no crisis per se, but they look in the mirror and apart from going, oh my goodness, that's my mother I see before me, they sit there and go, who am I? Because there are less people needing them, they're then suddenly thinking, well, where's that person that I was as a teenager? Where has that person gone? Because they spent so many years looking after others, doing what others need, and they're always at, the bottom of the heap. When suddenly they wake up, it's like, who am I? Where have I gone? And that doesn't have to be a crisis. It can just be a realization that something needs to change.
Thank you for clarifying that. So who am I? Where have I gone? And then, of course, where am I going? Where am I going to go? Where do I want to go? It's I think it's a beautiful opportunity when we're at a crossroads. If we recognize that and can deal with the things that we need to deal with to move on, then it's possible to evolve and, move into the next phase, whatever that is. We cannot have this episode without talking about a major, major life change that you made in your life, because you're not sitting here talking to me. We're not in the same room anyway, but you're not even in the same country as me. Tell everybody what happened and how you chose to carve a new path for yourself.
Okay, well, I am actually sitting in Italy, and I have a beautiful big old stone house, the mountains behind me, sea not too far ahead of me. And it came to me that, England wasn't where I was really comfortable or happy anymore. And there was something else that I needed to do. And somehow it turned out to be Italy. This was very kind of surreal in one sense, but I found this house. I knew instantly it was the right house. And my mission, if you like, this is an extension of this mission to help people. So we're still in the thick of renovations, but we have had a few visitors. And the idea is that people who are going through something can come and have a short or a longer stay here, just relax, just take time for them and be themselves, and to literally look back, look forward, to create a plan as to where they want to go. And I want to create this haven, and it's my haven. It's literally me going, do you know what? I'm going to do what I want to do and come to Italy. But it's not just about me. It's about making it a space for other people to come and have that little sanctuary for a few days or a week, whatever it might take, to step out of their current situation and work out what it is they actually want, maybe work out who exactly they are. And this is just beautiful surroundings to do that in.
So I've been to Italy many times, never to your place yet, I shall say yet. But of course, it's not as Liz is describing it, listeners. It's not you go and you chill out and, you zen out and do nothing. because she's also a talented healer and coach, and there are treatments available. So I think you're being very humble and modest, because that's part of the magic. It's fine. Sometimes people need to chill out and zen out first, and then opens up the space for some work. So I find it can't be done in your normal environment, no matter who you are. You might have a really quiet room. Where I am, my office is very, very quiet, lots of greenery, but it's still the space where, everything is associated with that space. So to step out and be in a different place, I write about this a lot. The thoughtful leader goes someplace, creates a space and a specific space. So yeah, you're absolutely on track. And what I like the best about what you're saying is you chose to do it first. So over here we say, you whack the weeds and you create the path, and then others can follow. So tell us about some of the challenges you've had along the way. Once you decided to do that, I know the renovation's still going on, but tell everybody about how there were some bumps in your road.
Okay, so you decide to move to Italy, and then you have a global pandemic. Hello, who does that happen to? And who decides, hey, I'm still going. This is my decision. Ain't nobody going to stop me, right? So I had, a flight booked, and I was coming to buy a house. And then the flight got cancelled. So we had a bit of a delay. And then I get a phone call saying, we think we can get you in with the notary to get the house finished, the completion. So I'm like, okay, at which point the plan escalated, and I thought, right, I'm going. And instead of going and then transiting backwards and forwards, I'm like, what could possibly happen in the near future with this thing, this pandemic going on? I could get stuck in one place or another. So I might as well get stuck where I want to be. So at that point, I decided, the furniture, the belongings, the dog, the cats, we're all going together. And so we came. We broke down on the way. We had to get the car towed. We had to get a hire car. I picked my son up in Geneva. He drove the second leg. I then spoke to Mindy and I said, do you know what? It's about time I wrote my book. So I was writing a book. And, I'm trying to organise driving licence, car insurance, house insurance, everything, and I don't speak the language. Luckily, I'm in a beautiful village with some, lovely neighbours who've adopted me. Couldn't be in a nicer place, and I'm getting through. But there's a huge language barrier. There is the fact that I'm here on my own. I got no reference point, but I have built up the mental resilience and enough activity to deal with that. And if ever I have a down day, and of course I do, everybody does, all I have to do is walk out on my terrace here and I look right and I see the beautiful mountain, which is currently totally covered in snow. Or I look straight ahead and I see the vineyards and the olive groves. And you just, wow, it takes your breath away. And you just think, you know what, I am so grateful. But everybody thought I was nuts. Why are you moving to Italy? Why are you going on your own? Why, because I want to. And because it fits in, it's time to look after me so that I can then look after other people. And yeah, was it easy? No, but it's getting easier, I like to think. I'm getting used to it.
That is an incredible story. And I have been observing and watching and talking to you and being involved in, the book stuff, but just the whole journey is amazing. I love what you said about you have to look after yourself, then you can look after others. And, we talk about that all the time at the Thoughtful Leader because it's impossible to give what you haven't got. So if you can create that space, the peace of mind, the clarity of thought, and that attitude of gratitude that you're talking about, be grateful for everything because it means that you made that happen. So you never regretted moving there?
Not for 1 second, even when I'm struggling with the language or the bureaucracy or trying to sort out an insurance policy or renew an insurance policy. And of course, they don't speak English. That's, one thing that Italians don't do. But every day there's some little reminder, little pleasure of why I did it and why I'm here. And every day, if at the end of the day I can tick off something and say, there's never a day where I don't achieve something. Some days I don't achieve very much, I will admit that, but I like to tick at least something off. And that helps. That's part of, keeping going, knowing that you've actually achieved something. Even if it's just, right, I'm going to tune into a podcast or listen to something or read a chapter in a book or do a little bit more grouting or ceiling pointing at me. Never a DIYer. I have been pointing tiles. No, I've been grouting tiles. I've been pointing ceilings. Skills I never dreamed. Well, I didn't want to do them, but sometimes you just have to. There is such a sense of satisfaction in doing that. And looking at those finished ceilings now, they're vaulted brick ceilings, and looking at them now going, I did that. Who'd have thought? And so there's gratitude and pleasure. The fact that my hair was full of grit and I was eating dust and filthy, there is a bizarre kind of pleasure in having achieved it and learning new skills. And you're never too old to learn. And that's part of my ethos as well. Anybody can come and what do you want to learn? I don't know. You might not know till you get here. And then we work on it. I work with every individual on their individual needs. And I think that is important, for people to understand that they're unique and different, and they all have different needs. And I have a great toolkit that can help with lots and lots of things.
Fantastic. I can really picture you up a ladder, doing that ceiling, getting the dust in your hair. So your 20-something self would not have believed it. Am I right?
Absolutely would not have believed it. I was on that train that you need to go into an office. You need, a corporate job. I worked in a bank. That's what you did. And then, I ended up in multinational corporates after that for some 25 years, traveling the world, doing, things on others' behalf until I realized, it's always for somebody else's benefit. Don't get me wrong. I loved it. I learned an awful lot. And, I was fortunate to work for some very good organizations, and I had incredible training and incredible opportunities. But there's also, the downside of the traveling, and, it's not that glamorous. But, my 20-something self thought you had to go and you had to have this career and you had to go and work for somebody. Nobody taught us about being, your own boss, being entrepreneurial, actually having the guts to stand up and go, I don't want to go that way. I want to go this way. I would probably have done completely different things much earlier in my life if I hadn't been listening and perhaps following the misguided guidance of other people who perhaps thought they were doing the best for me, but they didn't know me. And that's why, fast forward, now I've uncovered me again. I know me, which is why I can actually say, this is me and this is what I want to do without fear of offending anybody. It's not about that. And it's not about standing in your power and, getting other people annoyed. It's knowing yourself in order to be strong enough to say, no, that's not me. This is me. And to go with that path that you've chosen.
The song is in my head. This is me. I don't normally sing on these episodes, and I'm not going to sing now, but that rings so true. And I guess people don't have to wait until the rug's pulled out from under them. They have a bump in the road, they're middle age. You don't have to wait for any of those things to choose a new path and say, wait, that's not what I want. No, this is me. Right?
Oh, absolutely right. You don't have to wait. And interestingly, although, I aimed my book based on my coaching, which has been with women, and my book was aimed at women. And it's interesting the number of guys that have come forward and said to me, hey, you're talking to me too. And I get it because, this makes us think, this makes us want to change, this makes us want to do something different because we've been part of that people organizing us and pushing us in different directions. And we believed it. We believed it all. that's what you're supposed to do. And so, the unique individual that appears on this planet is literally suppressed from the minute that they can actually do anything, to the point where you really do forget who you are. You forget what your infinite potential is. And that's why, it doesn't take a crisis. It just takes a, hang on a minute, I'm not doing what I want. I've always done what other people have suggested that I do. So, let's change that. And you can. And, what I do with my coaching clients, what I introduce in the book, is a way to deal with that, a framework. Like most things, it's something that I've been working with for many, many years. But as with many other authors, coaches, people who have a framework, you'll say it's applied common sense. But if you don't know about it, you can't apply it. And it's quite a logical progression, and it helps anybody at any stage in life basically to make a change.
So if there were one piece of the framework or one piece of advice, because we are moving into our last minute or two, is there one piece of advice that you would love to give to the listeners?
I think, it goes along the lines of follow your dreams, if that's not too much of a cliche. But it's really about know your dreams, know what you actually want, look to what you want. What is your vision for you, for your future? And hold on to that vision. Understand that a vision doesn't miraculously appear. You need to actually work towards it, take some action. But if you don't have a vision, if you don't know where you want to go, then you've obviously got no chance of getting there. So work out what your vision is and start taking steps to get there.
Brilliant advice from Liz Carney, talking to you from Italy. And I'm sure that this has sparked more than a little interest in some of our listeners. So check out Liz's bio, check out the links. They're all in the show notes. And do start prioritizing your dream and making sure you're heading in that direction, as opposed to whatever else you think you should be doing or have been doing. It's very inspiring to listen to you, as always. Liz Carney, thank you so much.
Thank you, Mindy. It's been a pleasure to be here.
I hope you've enjoyed this episode of The Thoughtful Leader, and I hope it's inspired you to be more thoughtful as a leader in your business. Please consider subscribing and leaving a review. An important question for you. Do you want to create a culture of thought leadership in your organization? My best-selling book, The Thoughtful Leader, is available now on Amazon and many other sites in paperback, ebook, and audiobook formats. Please visit www.mindygk.com for more great content. That's www.mindygk.com. Speak to you again soon.